Hope you ain't standing over the top of your project watching the epoxy dry. Where the hell you at? Hey, welcome back, Orbinate fans. We're on step 3 of the glass frog, and we're just gonna jump right in. We're ready to finish this thing up, start gluing it down, and then we'll get the grout and throw the frame on. We're gonna have a finished product real soon. Just stick with us. Now that I have my glass all grinded down real nice, I like to take my main element, the main thing in the whole picture. Everything revolves around this frog. So I want to epoxy it down first while that big semi truck goes by the highway. So I mix up some 2-part epoxy that dries clear, and I mush it down real good on the glass. And see how I was talking about these pencil lines that you see all the way around these edges? That's going to represent your grout lines. So once this epoxy sets up, I'm going to leave it overnight and come back and work on it tomorrow. I'll come back in and I'll clean all that excess glue off. I'll make sure there's no fingerprints, and then I'll start fitting these pieces in and cutting and making sure I've got the lake aligned with where the grass needs to be cut, which is why I've pre-glued the center part. I know I can't mess that up now. So as I get closer to the end and filling up this corner here, I like to put my square down and just make sure that everything's all in alignment, and then I'll flip the square over and square up that top and the other side on the right. So just put a little bit of epoxy on there and dropping that in. Whoops. So I'm going to check my spacing before that glue dries, and then I have one more tiny piece of sky that will be put in and dropped in with this pair of tweezers. But I got to put some glue on the back and finish up a couple other things. We're almost done. So on this last piece, I gotta pick up with tweezers. Oh, treat it real gently because the glue. Oh, see, so I've already got that messed up. Alright, let me grab a better grip of that. Little dot of glue. And we're gonna drop that right on in there. Boom, done. So I just want to make a quick little adjustment. I can use my X-Acto knife to move the stuff around. Make sure everything's attached. And I'm afraid I might be gluing the edge of my ruler to that. So we're going to let that sit, and then we're going to move over and finish this little corner. And we're going to come across the top, and we're all done, ready for grout. The grout all mixed up. I put a little paint in mine because I wanted it darker. And I just kind of using this knife, gently swirl stuff around in there. Make sure all those cracks are filled. And I let it thicken up for just a minute. If you let it thicken up too long, you'll have problems. But I'll take some really nice wet rags, and I'll wipe all this off, and I'll clean off the surface, and I'll have a nice grouted piece of mosaic stained glass. After we've grouted it and cleaned it and wiped it and wiped it and cleaned it, we're going to let it dry out for a little while, and then I'm going to come back in and I'm going to buff the surface of the glass a little bit better. I'm going to blacken these little edges of the glass where there's a little tiny bit of a daylight leak around some edges, and it is ready to go. So I'm sure y'all been waiting. We're going to hold it up in the light. It sure changes character when you get it in the light just right and get it on camera just right. It's so hard to photograph stained glass, but I think that you get the general gist. There's the color. So there's my stained glass frog. Hope y'all enjoyed the project. We're going to let it dry out and clean it up a little bit, and we're going to move on to the next one, so come back soon.